Hello and welcome to another episode, French Here Trumpet. I'm Andy from AJ in France, joined as usual by Colin from French Countryside Live. And normally we come together once every week or 2 weeks, as it tends to be now because of normal life pressures. But we like to discuss stuff that we find interesting. Sometimes it's French related, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we have a guest, sometimes we don't. Anyway, tonight we don't have a guest, but there's some things that I've seen recently, not just in my own life, well, some of my own life, but or online as well. So we're going to do this episode on going back to the UK. Apologies to all those that live in America, if you're watching this, or Australia or wherever. Because we're from the UK, we really only can talk about this, but some of the points may apply to you. And the reason we're going to do this episode is I've seen recently a lot of people we know deciding to move back to the UK after having moved here and lived here for sometimes quite a considerable length of time, 20 plus years. And for whatever reason, they decided to go back to the UK. And I'm just interested to discuss this and find out, if we can come up with a reason why or why you would not go back, if that makes sense. So it's
Yeah,
not
of
really a
course.
plus and minus type thing, but because everybody's different, nobody's the same. But just to explore, is there something missing that when they come here they miss that they feel they need to go back for, or is there something, I don't know, better back home that isn't very good here? I'm not sure, but maybe we can have a chat about it. What do you think, Colin?
So you can only really think of things from your own personal point of view.
That's it.
So to get like an independent sort of view on it, I put the question into Gemini AI, and I asked the question: How many Brits leave France to return to the UK every year? And I'm just going to read the answer
Yeah.
uh, that it gave. I'm just going to read it as it's written. So. There's a few numbers in it, so it's a little bit dry. So bear with me.
Colin's dry bits.
The Collins dry bits. I've got some cream for that. So, all right. So this is the answer. It is difficult to provide a precise. I'll start again. It is difficult to provide a precise annual figure for the number of Brits leaving France to return to the UK, as official statistics often track overall international migration flows rather than specific country to country returns. However, based on general trends and related data, overall British emigration, the total number of British nationals emigrating from the UK to all countries for a long-term stay was estimated to be 77,000 in the year ended December 2024, according to the ONS, which is the Office for National Statistics. This figure is for British citizens leaving the UK, not those returning. So, retiree returns. A key finding from a 2021 study by INSEE, which is the French equivalent of the ONS, noted that since 2010, the number of British retirees leaving France has exceeded that of those arriving.
Hmm.
So, the general context is that the movement of British citizens returning to the UK from EU countries like France has been a subject of interest, particularly following the Brexit referendum and the subsequent changes in residency, healthcare, and financial rules, which
Yeah.
have prompted some expats to return due to increased administrative complexity and cost of living pressures. In summary, while there is no single up-to-date statistic specifically for Brits returning from France to the UK each year, there is an indication, especially among retirees, that emigration from France back to the UK has been a noticeable trend in the last decade. And then it goes on to give reasons, which we'll come to shortly. So, what was your impressions of that?
Yeah, I've got to agree, and it's the reason why I wanted to do this episode on this is because I just seem to see it more. You know, I don't know, like you read it or it's in the news, or personally people that have decided to go back. And I can't help but thinking you did a very good, actually, interview with the guy. Do you remember who's going back? I forget his name now,
Oh,
actually.
John. Yeah.
Yeah, on your channel, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a really well done interview, quite measured, with real reasons why they were going back.
Yeah.
And it kind of kicked it off. There's a couple that I know who have a second home here, and what they do is they come here for they apply every year for a year-long visa, but they don't stay for a year. So they do like spring to autumn.
Yeah.
So it's probably 6 to 7 months they spend here, and then
Sure.
within that time they fly back to do whatever they're going to do. And the last time they were here, I caught them at probably a bit of a downtime, and they were saying, "Oh, you know what? I really want to sell this place. We were going to sell this place." And the amount of work they've put into it, you couldn't imagine. It's just,
Mm.
like you've done in your house. They've put over, I'm going to say 15 years of work, probably more. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly the date,
Yeah.
but you can tell that everything's been done like yours, to the nth degree, really lovingly well done. And for them to just turn around and say, you know what, we don't want it anymore.
Mm.
We don't want to pursue that French dream. And that started me thinking, is it a loss of the French dream? If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. One thing that occurred to me actually the other day, I was talking to one of my customers, and she said that a friend of hers, her husband, isn't well, and like quite quite seriously ill, and they're going back to the UK because he would feel more comfortable in the NHS.
Hmm.
And it occurred to me that I wonder if those people are judging the NHS from from the 15, 20 years ago that when they left, and
I
it's a different
think
animal now.
yeah, and you know what? That's something I've thought about quite often. And the reason I think, well, if I had to apply it to myself, would I feel more comfortable with the NHS? Well, probably yes, because
Right.
one, it is I can speak the language,
Yeah.
and even though I've got a job here and I get along every day and
Yeah.
speak to everyone every day, in a situation that's stressful, I want to be able to say, I would want to be able to say stuff in and communicate freely and get across the problems that I'm having.
Yeah.
So yes, I probably feel more comfortable doing that. But
Right.
logically speaking, I know the care I'm going to get, not for any fault of anybody carrying out the care, by the way,
Yeah. Of
it's
course.
going to be much better here for sure,
Yeah.
unless I pay to go private in the UK. I mean,
Mm.
the difference is probably quite massive. But would I feel more comfortable being able to just turn around to someone and say, I don't feel very well today. This is the problem straight away. Just get
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
information
Without having to think about it.
exactly, or
Yeah.
it being misinterpreted. Then
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
would feel more
So
comfortable. But
I'm
just
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 sorry. Go
on
on.
that point,
Yeah.
the British healthcare is not patient-led. So that's the big difference. What I mean by that, in the UK, you could just go to a doctor and say, "This is what these are the symptoms I've got. What do I do?" And then it's taken out of your hands. You don't do anything else.
I
You
see what you
literally
mean.
don't do anything else. You
Yeah.
go home, you sit in your chair, you watch your telly, and a letter will drop through the door. You get a phone call, an email, and that the next steps will be told to you what to do. It's like healthcare and you don't have to think about it. If that does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. When we first moved to France, and if you go back in French countryside life, you'll see that I was clearing some brambles by the gate, which was at the top of an embankment, and I stepped back to admire the work I'd done, forgetting I was 6 foot up an embankment, and just went flying off the top backwards, and landed on my side and broke my elbow. I didn't realise I'd broken it. It took about 4 days before I went to get an X-ray, and I'd only been in the country for about, I don't know, 3, 4 months. Didn't have a clue. So went to the hospital and uh, had the X-ray and they set it there and then for me, and then they said you have to make an appointment to see the consultant, and that was it was only about like 3 days later. So I got the woman in reception to do it for me, and so I went to see the consultant, and he had a look at all the X-rays and said, "Yeah, that's fine. Just do what you got to do." And then he said, "Oh, and uh, you need some physio." He gave me some papers, which I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Right, and then he said, and the next appointment is in 6 weeks. I said, okay. So I thought he meant that my physio is in 6 weeks. I thought, oh, well, that's a while, isn't it? But okay. Anyway, when I went back 6 weeks later, he said, how did your physio go? Because I walked in and I thought, what's he doing here? I thought, what's he doing here? And oh, so, I walked in and he said, how did your physio go? I thought this, and I said, I thought this was it. He said, no, you have to you have to go and find a physiotherapist. And the bit of paper that I gave you, which I know now, is a prescription and ordinance. And you use that to pay for the physio, basically. I didn't know that.
No,
So,
no,
yeah,
no.
so I went back and he said, how's your physio? How did the physio go? I said, I thought this was it. He said, well, it's too late now.
Yeah,
And because of that, I can't straighten my arm out now.
yeah.
I just didn't know.
But if you'd have grown up here, then you
Oh
would
yeah,
know.
yeah. It'd be ordinary to you. It'd be normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
So
they, I think they treat you like more of an adult here. Actually, it's
it's
like
all your stuff. It's your
yeah, and
health.
it all goes into the whole health and safety thing. So, for example, you can be walking around the supermarket, and when they're putting new shelves up, there'll be bits of pipe and stuff sticking up out the floor, and they haven't got barriers around it,
No.
and flashing lights and people in high visits and hard standing around it. They just say, "Well, don't
Don't
fall
go,
over it.
or go down another aisle. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
don't
And
fall over. Open your eyes. Don't fall over it."
I mean, well, I don't want to make the whole episode about the NHS or the French
No,
Health Service because I don't think that's the major reason. No, no, not many people will go back because the healthcare is better in the UK. I don't
right.
think that's the case. I
Let me
think,
just
go
go
on,
on. I was just going to say, let me just whiz through the rest of the AI answer because it gives a number of reasons.
go on then.
All right. So it says the decision for a British person to leave France and return to the UK is usually a complex one, often driven by a combination of personal, financial, and regulatory factors, particularly since Brexit. Here are the primary reasons why many UK expats are choosing to return home from France. Number one, the impact of Brexit, increased complexity. The UK's departure from the European Union is a major catalyst, changing the fundamental landscape for British residents in France. Residency and administration. Changes to freedom of movement have led to new, often complex residency permit requirements, like the carte de séjour, and increased bureaucracy. For many, especially retirees, the ongoing administrative burden and uncertainty make life less appealing. Healthcare access, what we've just been talking about. While France has an excellent healthcare system, some experts have reported increased difficulties or confusion regarding their access, registration, getting a carte vitale, and eligibility for state-funded care post-Brexit. Border controls. The ease of travel and living across the border is reduced, adding friction to visits with family in the UK, which we're going to come to shortly.
Mhm.
Number two, personal and family circumstances. These factors are non-negotiable for many people and often override financial or legal concerns. Family pull. The desire to be closer to children, grandchildren, or aging parents in the UK is consistently cited as one of the most significant reasons for repatriation. Ill health. Facing serious health issues or the death of a spouse often prompts a return as people seek the familiar comfort and language of the NHS and their support network, what we just
Exactly.
talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reverse culture shock. This is an interesting one. After an extended period abroad, some expats find they feel disconnected from home, but upon returning, they can experience reverse culture shock, where familiar customs now feel strange or the pace of life
Yeah.
is different. And number three, financial and tax pressures. The financial landscape for UK citizens relying on UK income or assets has shifted. The cost of living. Rising costs in France, combined with a fluctuating exchange rate for those relying on UK pensions or savings, have made financial stability harder to maintain. And taxation complexity. I won't go through all that because that's just the various types of tax. So yeah, so that's
Mm.
yeah, so that
No,
pretty much
there's some good points to discuss there. And I've got to say, if you were going to say the number one thing, it's got to be kids or grandkids. Not kids, I
yeah,
wouldn't have thought, grandkids.
yeah, definitely, yeah,
And we've discussed this before, I think.
yeah.
Mm, yeah,
I
grandkids.
mean, that was the reason we talked earlier about the interview with John and Teresa. That was
Mm,
the reason for them returning to the UK. That was grandchildren. I think Teresa's son was returning from Hong Kong with his Chinese wife and children
mm.
back to the UK, and so they wanted to be close to him. And after they moved, the son decided not to come back.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. And I've actually had this through, extended acquaintances here who have decided, you know what? I'm not seeing enough of the grandkids. I'm going to go home. And
Mm.
normally, I don't want to stereotype this, but in every I'll make it personal. In every circumstance I've seen happen,
Yeah,
the husband or the man doesn't want to go back,
yeah,
but the wife or the partner, the female partner, wants to go back, which I understand because,
yeah,
well, that's just natural, I guess. But in every circumstance, after 5 years or so, when they
yeah,
realize the grandkids are just not interested in seeing the grandparents
no,
at all,
yeah,
they'd rather be on the phone or on the PS5.
yeah,
They're stuck then. And,
yeah. Well,
and
funny
another,
enough.
go
Go
on.
on. No, go on.
I was going to say the stuff you have to give up for that, which in my
Mm.
mind, right. So if I had grandkids, I desperately wanted to see, and I was retired, and I had enough money to have a house in France. There's certain things I would do before pulling up the drawbridge and saying, "That's it, I'm selling, I'm going." One of those would be if I had enough money, I would just go and spend an extended amount of time there. Like rent a hotel, or if it was possible, stay with the family for
Yeah,
an extended period of time.
a couple of months at a time. Yeah,
Yeah, a couple of months
yeah,
at a time. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure the parents would love that, but very quickly those kids grow up to, and it doesn't have to be too old, where they're just
No,
not interested.
no, that's it.
And
Yeah,
then what? Then what
yeah,
happens?
yeah. You'd be in a financial position where you can't go back to that life.
A lot of the problems as well is when you go
Mm.
back, you sell the house here. It may
Mm.
have increased somewhat in value,
Yeah,
but
not a
nowhere
vast amount.
near what the houses have gone up in the UK for the
No,
equivalent.
no,
Even
that's
the
right.
house you sold to come here with,
Mm.
bought your house. If you sold your house in France now,
Mm.
fortunately for everyone living here, the market's not like that. You wouldn't be able to re-afford the house that you
No,
you had when you left.
no,
So you
no.
immediately going to be renting or accepting a smaller, less expensive house.
Yeah, yeah. And what you were just saying about the difference in between men and women. I spoke to John probably about 2 months ago. This is the guy who I talked to on French Countryside Live. Get a plug in there. And uh,
What's that then?
it's
Is
a
that
really
channel,
good
is it?
it's a really good channel. You should yeah, yeah. Like, share, subscribe. Um, yeah, and I said so. His situation in France, up in Normandy, was that he had his own carp lake, and the house that he had was on an island. He was literally on an island
Nice.
on one edge of the Carp Lake. So he had a moat around his house, basically. It wasn't a very big house, but it was nice, you know. And he had like a wooden balcony where he used to feed fish, feed the fish dog biscuits. He just used to throw a handful and all the carp would come. It was a fantastic place. And he bought a nice place in Bognor, down on the south coast, just outside Bognor. I think the posh end of Bognor.
Okay.
And
There was one.
yeah, I didn't even know there was one. Anyway,
Jokes, by the way. If you live in Bognor,
yeah, I'm sure
sorry.
it's very, very nice. Um, anyway, after he got the house sorted, it was a relatively new house, so there wasn't much to do. So after he got the house sorted, he had a pond dug in the back garden, and he put a few goldfish and golden wolf in it, you know. And it's just, and I said to him, "So what do you do for your time? You know, with your time?" Because he was a big fisherman, obviously, because he had his own
Yeah,
carp lake.
yeah.
I said, "Oh, what do you do with your time?" And I actually gave him one of my beach casting rods and tackle to to get himself on the beach. And he said, "I don't go fishing much." He's about 300 yards from the sea, and he said, "What he does, he walks up and down the beach, picking up um, what are they called, uh, cuttlefish." Cuttlefish things that because you get your budgies eating those, and did you know that?
Yeah.
Budgies eat cuttlefish. The
Well, I
skeleton things
never.
inside cuttlefish. Right?
Well, I never.
There you
I
go. See,
never.
every day's a school day. Yeah. Anyway, so he walks up and down the beach, and they're always getting washed up, and he sells them on eBay. But that's what he's going to do now till he dies. Just walk
Okay.
up and down the beach.
Well, yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
yeah, no, well, this is the whole thing to discuss, really, is if you went back, would you? I mean, you said something to me at the beginning of this is maybe they were thinking about how it was before. And
Yes.
this is
Yeah. Certainly with the
interesting.
NHS. Yeah.
Yeah, you meant it about the NHS, but I reckon a lot of people see it as it was. They see the prices of food and they see the
Yeah.
prices of everything as it was when they left. And then when they
Yeah.
look in the supermarket here, they go, "Oh my God, it's so expensive." And I recently tested this out because I go back a lot. Like
Yeah.
I could average out once a month. I go back to London, and I thought I'd just try out. So I went to Lidl here, and I got a standard roast chicken. Took a picture of the price.
You sent it to us, didn't you?
Yeah, I forget what it was. Went to London, and it was £2 more in London,
Yeah.
in Lidl in
Yeah.
London.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
yeah. So there's
the,
a direct
the,
comparison there.
Yeah, direct comparison, same stores, exactly the same thing, except
Mm.
the other difference, of course, in the UK, it was just a generic chicken, but there
Mm.
are rules in France, and you could tell it actually had a local name on it
Mm.
from a local town, well, about 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers from here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And, you could tell that it was a different kind of chicken. Does that make sense? That doesn't even
I know
make
exactly what you mean. We had, I think, the last time that Kelly came over, Jane's eldest daughter, we popped to the shops to get some bits and pieces, and we was complaining about, I think the price of a bottle of ketchup or something like that, saying, cost is ridiculous. It's really expensive here. And she said, when was the last time you bought ketchup in Tesco's?
Yeah,
Long, long time.
long
And
time ago.
yeah, and she said, well, there you go. She said, it costs much more than that back home,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm astounded, especially I mean for me the price of beers and stuff is insane in the UK. It's like
Wow.
it's out.
Yeah,
If you go to a pub, you're looking at like 10, almost. It's depending on which pub you go to. In London, I'm talking about now.
yeah,
You can pay £10 for a pint. I went to a pub, and I'm not going
Right.
to name the name of the pub, but it was in the middle of touristy London, and yeah, I paid £10.
Yeah.
But I
Wasn't that
only
one in
had
Old
one,
Compton?
surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Would you believe it?
Wasn't that one in Old Compton Street, was it?
No, no, it was no, it wasn't no. Yeah. So anyway, I also did a lot of traveling.
If you know, you know.
Yes, I did a lot of traveling on public transport, and it's
Right.
incredibly expensive now. It's actually, and what my friends were saying as well, it's cheaper to buy a car now in London and use a car.
Really
Yeah,
ridiculous.
for sure. I mean, we're talking for a weekend over €100 in travel expenses
Oh my God.
on public
Yeah.
transport. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember in my last job, I used to, every now and again, we used to take the boss's Range Rover with the guns and that up to the various shoots, and then we get the train back, and he'd be up there shooting for a couple of days, and we'd take the train up to get to pick the Range Rover up, which meant that we just turn up at the station, buy a ticket,
Yeah.
and it was in hundreds of pounds
Yeah.
train ticket.
What
Anyway,
I
that
like,
was
what I like about I mean, we don't want to turn this into what I like about here and what I don't like, but if I want to get my train from here to Rennes, I know how
yeah.
much it's going to cost whether I turn up 1 minute before or a week
Mm.
before.
Mm.
It's going to be the same.
Oh,
So if I
really?
just
That's
suddenly
good.
decide to go to Rennes tomorrow, I
Yeah,
don't have to worry that it's €200 a ticket. I
yeah,
know it's going to be the same.
yeah. That's good.
So anyway, I think we've probably covered why people go back for NHS to feel comfortable. You could talk to people. It's not patient led. It's institutionally led. So they will tell you what to do. So we've
Mm.
covered that. We've covered the fact that I guess you go home to see grandkids, and I think from what you've said, what I've realized is that that's a limited period of time. So, with it, people go back to spend time with the grandkids, but eventually doesn't really work out because the grandkids aren't interested.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's what they call a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
exactly. In my mind, there's other ways of doing it. So
Sure.
there must have been something to bring you to France, the French dream of, living outside most of the time, easy life, all that kind of stuff. So when I say easy life, I mean tranquil,
I know what you mean.
not too busy. And
Yeah. Mm.
then you drop it all, sell everything, go back for a limited period of time. And then what? Then what
Mm.
happens then? Then you're back into the system, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's that. I
Actually,
suppose.
just on that point, there's a friend of mine that I used to work with. He's got a really nice house in towards Southend in Essex, and it's all bought paid for, paid off his mortgage and that, and it's probably worth not far short of £500,000 now. It's, it's nothing special. It's a three bedroom semi.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
three bedroom semi, and yeah, nothing mad special. And so we were talking about it, and if he had his way, he would be out in France in a heartbeat, or Spain or Portugal. One of the usual suspects. But his wife doesn't want to leave the grandchildren. So there's also the opposite effect of
Hmm.
stopping people coming out, to do what they want.
Do you know, there's something curious, and I'll share it that I was never, when I was in England, I would class myself as not as lonely because I had a partner and
Sure.
dogs and horses and all that kind of stuff, but isolated. I know
Yeah,
that sounds weird because I lived in the middle of a big
I know
town.
exactly what you mean. Yeah,
But
yeah.
here, I feel the opposite. Like, I'll give you an example. I was driving back today and I passed one of my neighbors who I know, and he knows my car. And he ran
Yeah.
out to the front and he waved me down. This is just before coming here to do this. And he goes, "Oh, Andy, can you just come in and have a look at he was doing some wiring or something in his house. Can you
Mm.
just tell me if I've done this right?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Mm.
no problem." So I parked up. And then suddenly it's like, look at this wiring for 5 minutes, and then it's, "Do you want a beer?"
Oh,
And
go
then
on
his
then.
wife comes out, everybody comes out. And then while I was stood there, the farmer who lives behind me, he sidles up, comes in the front gate. "All right, how's everyone doing?" "Everyone fine, yeah." And then it started chatting, talking, and that just happens naturally here. Like you can
Yeah.
just,
The cliche of that description is that people say that it's like Britain was 50 years ago.
I guess you're probably right. But
Mm.
being less than 50 years old, I'm not sure. But yeah.
So they
Yeah.
tell me.
So I never felt more isolated and alone than I was when in the UK because
Yeah,
everyone stays in their house. And
yeah,
do you know
yeah,
what? This is a really big like diversion from what we're talking about. So when I have friends over from the UK, they live in the house.
yeah,
Like the second it gets to, oh, the sun's going down even slightly, even in the summer, that's it.
yeah,
Everyone decamps, are in the house, back, bang, in the pajamas, that's done.
yeah.
And it's completely the opposite here. Most of the people I know, like then like everyone's outside, even though it was
Mm.
just dusk, like
Mm.
everybody's outside.
Yeah.
Um, Living inside is not, I don't know, it's difficult to explain. Even
Well,
when my
it's just a
friends
different culture, isn't it?
Yeah, even when my friends come over and
Mm.
they come in middle of September, it's like 30 degrees
Mm.
and it gets to 5 o'clock and they're all inside. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what's going on? It's
yeah,
not like there's nowhere to be outside and there's not stuff to do.
yeah,
They like to go inside in the evening and watch TV and I'm like, oh, that used to be me,
yeah. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
you
It's
know,
interesting to be able to be outside looking at it.
and
But
completely different.
yeah, this just referring back to me, mate, with the house that's worth half a mil. It probably didn't help me sending him a couple of listings. One was
Probably not there.
for a 14 bedroom maison de maître that was set up as a B&B. That probably didn't help.
Right.
And yeah, and a couple of other places. There was one that had a 14-acre lake that he could have afforded easily.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine that comes out every year, and he's got a house in North London,
Mm.
and it must be worth 750, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, of
If I
course.
could look at what you could buy for 750,
Oh,
I mean, he is quite expensive because of how close I am to Rennes and then Rennes to Paris. So the prices are quite not high, but they're like reasonable. And then if I look where my other house is or where you are, and you're like, you could get a castle
yeah, yeah.
for that
You
kind of
could
money.
literally buy a castle.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Not that you'd want
the
one, but you could literally buy
no,
one.
you wouldn't want one. No,
Yeah,
absolutely not. No.
yeah,
But then going on the theme of this video, invert that, turn that the upside down.
yeah. That's
What
it.
would you
If
need
you
to have here to go back to get even and this
just
guy's
the basic
house
house,
is semi-detached with just space for one little car on a drive
yeah,
in and the rest of the road you can't park on because it's double yellow. So you
yeah,
know one car and that's your lot. And at the end of his drive, he's got multiple houses of multiple occupancy on his street.
yeah.
At the
Nice.
other end of the street, on the other side, there's a bail hostel with, uh, and even all that, and it's still worth that amount of money. And you
Yeah.
just think, do you know what? Would I want to live there? Would I not?
Mm.
No, no, I wouldn't. No. And it's
Yeah.
very, not him, he's a very sociable person, but you understand what I say about when I was back in the UK, I was not lonely, but isolated, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you go onto the tube,
No one
onto the
talks. Oh,
London Underground. Everybody's got their head in the phone, and it's. I mean, there's all sorts of cliched, as I say, sketches on on comedy shows where you get an organist come down to the
right.
come down to
Stop right there. I
London.
want to tell you this for actual. This is there's me that did it.
Yeah, go
Okay.
on.
So I actually did that sketch, but I did it for real.
Right.
So I'm from the north of England, and everyone is really outgoing and very will talk to anyone about anything.
Yeah.
And I remember coming down to take an interview, not for what I did, but for something else. But I had to come down to London. It's the first time I've ever been on the tube in my life.
Yeah.
Came down to King's Cross on the train, got off the train, went to I can't remember where I went to, and got on the tube, and I sat in the carriage and went, "All right, mate, how are you doing?" And it was an Indian couple opposite me with a kid, and there wasn't many other people because it was middle of the day. And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm just down here for an interview, like, and how's it going and all that sort of stuff." They just got up and walked off,
Yeah.
literally. And
Who
I
was a
was like,
mental
"Oh,
person, too?
that's pretty rude, isn't it?" But that's the
Rude.
difference between Northerners and Southerners. And then
Yeah.
I realized that basically, even if you look at someone,
What are you
that's not
looking at?
on. It's not on.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah. What
on.
you looking at?
Yeah, just sit there in your own misery,
That's
look at the
it.
floor. If you look at anyone, there's a problem. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Anyway, the rest of my life, I was on the tube going, this is bloody depressing, isn't it? I mean, it's like, you
Yeah.
can't even talk to anyone.
No. No. That's
And
it.
people think you're a weirdo when you try and do, oh,
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway, that's all way behind us, isn't it?
exactly. Anyway, let's get back on track. So
Yeah.
we've done family, NHS. Question for you. And this is interesting because I asked my dad this very question. So the story with my dad was he sold his business, came over here, lived in France with my mum, and the rest is history. But I did say to him in the later years, um, honestly, I said to you, because my dad never lied, and I've never heard him swear either in
Mm.
40 odd years. But I
Yeah.
said to him, if you could have what you've got here in England, would you ever have left England and come here? And he said,
Yeah.
no, I would have stayed in England.
Yeah.
So I said, why did you move? And he said, it's just not possible to have the life that you've got here in England. I
Yeah.
don't know what you think about
With
that.
the equivalent amount of money, then yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, because it's the culture thing, isn't it? It's I think it comes back to what or what I said about certainly rural France. Maybe it's different in the cities, but certainly rural France. It's like the UK was 50 years ago
Hmm.
in terms of real communities, real people looking out for each other. Um, yeah, just it's just got a warm and fuzzy feeling about it, hasn't it?
It has. And I'll give you two little stories. One was from the UK and one from here. From here, one year, all the guys that I used to work with used to come over, and well, they do come over every year. And one year they came over, and I sent them over in another car because I had to pick another car up. So, like, five guys got out of a car outside the front of my house and went, and they didn't have the key, so they were all in the front garden milling around.
Yeah.
And when I got there, my neighbor was arms over the fence, the one facing my house, looking at them like, who are these guys?
Give it
Yeah,
a
exactly like that. And one of my friends said, as soon as we turned up, he came to the fence and he's been staring at us ever since.
yeah,
And I was like, well, yeah, that's how it
yeah,
works. And
yeah.
as soon as he saw me turn up and I give him the old
Yeah.
bonjour, and he's like, okay, bonjour. And then he disappeared as usual. And
When I broke me ride mower, and I had to deliver it up to a place to be fixed. They did offer to come and get it, but it was just as easy for me to put it on the trailer and take it
Yeah.
myself. So anyway, I took it up there, and when I got back, Jean Pierre opposite, he came over. He's like, "Saw your mower go, and you haven't come back." I said, "No." I said, "I broke it, and it's been fixed." He said, "Do you need to cut your grass?" I said, "Well, yeah, yeah." He said, "Right, you can use my mower. It's brand new." I said, "Well, I don't want to break it." He said, "No, no, it's fine. You use it." I said, "Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much." Anyway, so I went back indoors, put the kettle on, and I was just finishing my coffee. There was a knock on the door. I opened the door, and it's Jean Pierre. He said, "Are you going to come and get this mower?" Yeah, okay, yeah. But
Yeah, in fact, something identical happened to my mum. So, I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, she had the operation on her shoulder and she couldn't
yeah,
drive the ride on mower.
yeah,
And I said to the neighbour, who was a good friend, I said, "Oh, mum's injured her shoulder and she can't cut the grass and all that kind of
mm,
stuff." He goes, "Don't worry, I'll do it."
mm,
And I was like, "No, you don't have to. I'll come down and do it after work." He's, "Oh, no, no, I'm retired. I'll do it."
yeah, yeah,
Anyway, my mum said, right, she has an art group that came that came round normally every Tuesday, and they take it in turns to go around each member of the groups, and it was mum's turn to host the art group. So they're all there looking out, doing their all painting and stuff, and suddenly this guy turns up on a mower and starts cutting all my mum's
up and
lawn.
down.
Mum was, what? Brilliant.
The other side of all of that, though, is there's the minor sort of politicking as well involved in it all. So, which you don't really see on the face, but underneath there's all stuff going on that you don't know about. So, for example, when I first moved here, um, I got my strimmer out and I'm strimming. There's there's like a ditch out the front, there's like
Posse.
the fosse out the front. Yeah, so I was uh, trimming that, getting it all nice, and all nice and cut and neat and that. And I thought I'll go and do John Pierre's as well. While I'm out there, I might be going to do it. So I went out there. I started trimming it. Come out. He says, "No, no, 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 no." I said, "No, it's fine." He said, "No, no, no, no." So I asked him why, and there had been an ongoing disagreement between Jean Pierre and the mayor about the quality of the ditch clearing. So as you well know, a couple of times a year, or maybe 3 times a year, they'll go around and cut all the verges, cut all the ditches, all
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
drainage, yeah, and all the hedges and stuff. They'll go around and do it all. And Jean Pierre wasn't happy with the standard that it was being done.
Ah, well, yes.
So he didn't want me to do it, so that when they come and did it, he'd have something to complain about.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the theme with the video,
Yeah.
a question for you then.
Okay.
Would you ever move back?
Of course not. No. No, in a word.
Is there anything that would make you move back?
Um, uh, the phrase wild horses popped into my head, but um, anything that would make me move back. No, I can't think of anything that I would want to do that for.
Hmm,
No,
interesting.
no. The only thing that I miss, obviously, other than family, is fishing off at the beach because we live like 3 hours
Miles
from the
away
sea.
from the beach.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
moly, yeah.
yeah, like three
But
and
I
a half
mean,
hours from the
that
sea.
can be
So
solved. I mean, when you're retired, well, semi-retired slash
mm.
whatever. I mean, if you wanted to, you could do that for that a couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
could
yeah. I
you
mean,
could
I've
certainly.
I've suggested to myself that I'll go and do a couple of days. So,
Mm,
drive down or 3 days and 2 nights, drive down there and camp. camp down there on the beach because we're about 3.5 hours from La Rochelle, and
Mm.
you got um, Ile de Ré and Ile de Oloron, another half an hour, 40 minutes from there. So yeah, I mean that's some good bass fishing off there apparently. But,
So, okay. Um, One of the other things, I think we've covered this before, is missing family and not necessarily forget grandkids and kids and stuff,
yeah,
just family generally. And
yeah,
for people watching this who haven't seen it, we did a really excellent, I mean, one of my favorite actually, episodes was Those We Left Behind, which is an interview with someone that was left behind, if you see what I mean. Jen's daughter.
Kelly. It was James Ellis'
Yeah,
daughter. That was, yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I've never
And
seen anybody do that before, and I don't think I've seen one since.
no, it's very unique and
Mm.
very honest as well, actually,
Yeah,
which I liked. And it's a testament to her that she wanted the best for her mum, and
yeah, of
you
course, yeah,
know, she wanted Jane to be happy, and
yeah, of course.
that she's happy here, and that is pretty good. But
Mm.
colleagues, friends, and other family is a reason why people go back. The
Yeah,
familiarity of being in a group and going to a pub or well, nowadays it's probably not pub, but you know what I mean, like doing
it's
stuff
easy,
we've
isn't it?
always
It's
done.
easy. So you can,
Yeah.
like you say, you can sit indoors, put your British telly on, and pop to Tesco's at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Everything's open. You can have your Indian food delivered to your door. It's everything's
absolutely.
easy. Everything's easy.
Absolutely. So
Whereas here,
yeah,
it's a lot more structured, and I think it's obviously a simpler life, isn't it? I think it's
it is.
simpler.
And you do miss, I mean, there are things you can't get here. Like, I mean, where I'm sat now, I can't order a pizza or Chinese or an Indian to my house.
Living like savages, we are.
That's savages, mate. Yeah. I can't do it. Just can't do it.
Hmm.
Try. Can't do it. But yeah, interestingly, when you go back to the UK, it's so easy. You just tend
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah, of course.
So expensive, you
Yeah, oh,
know?
it's crazy, crazy money. Yeah,
So I went back last weekend, and first and foremost, the European entry system.
right. Yeah, I was going to talk about that. So yeah,
What have you got there for us?
no, nothing. Talk me through it because I don't know anything about it.
Right. So I flew from London Gatwick to
Yeah,
Nantes,
yeah,
pretty big international airport on the west side of France. And they have all the machines there for fingerprint and photograph before you get to the passport desk.
right.
So if you're not a European resident or you're not a European citizen, then you have to get your fingerprints and your photograph done on these machines.
So does that mean for someone with a residency, with a French
Right.
residency?
So the official thing is, and I asked, is if you've got a carte de séjour or
Yeah,
a residency permit and a British passport,
yeah,
join the queue for the EU citizens, and they'll
right.
let you straight. And that's just what I did. So
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting.
you get fast track because you're a resident of France, and because
Yeah,
the reason is you've given your fingerprints and photographs
yeah,
when you do your card. So.
yeah. So would that also include someone with, say, a 1 year residency?
Anytime you've given your fingerprints and photograph already and you've received a card
Yeah,
or a visa,
yeah.
then you don't have to do it.
Right. And what about on the return?
To England,
No, oh, sorry, on the return from England back to France.
that was the return.
Oh, okay,
When you go
okay.
to England, it's just normal. You just go with your passport.
Oh,
There's
okay,
no
okay.
additional checks there at all at the
Right,
moment.
okay, okay. All right. So it's just like yeah. No, I understand that. So it's just like a gatekeeping for the Schengen
Yeah,
area.
exactly. Just for
Yeah,
the entry into
yeah.
the
Okay.
European Union. so they can keep tabs on who's there, which is brilliant, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's going to be a faff, obviously, but yeah, why
Do you
not?
know, do you know how long that lasts? So, say
Hmm.
um, you was a British citizen and resident in the UK, and you came to France
Yeah,
and you went through the process of EES. How long would that last, or is it just for that trip?
I don't know,
Okay, all right.
but that's a very good question.
Yeah, I'll write it down, and when if anybody's still watching, well done. And
I doubt it. I'm
and
on.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's about it.
Oh dear. All right, Robbie, get yourself a life, mate.
No,
Honestly.
he's done some really
Um,
good videos actually recently, has
he's
Robbie?
done
Yeah,
some
we'll
cracking
put a link
videos.
in because
Yeah,
some of his new videos are brilliant.
yeah. I did say to him actually that he had left me way behind.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
definitely,
yeah, actually,
definitely.
yeah, this is what I wrote to
He's a
him anyway.
machine, isn't he?
Yeah, let me,
He's a machine.
yeah, yeah. We'll just see what I can find the comment that I wrote to him. Almost yourselves.
Yeah, I reckon the European entry system, once it gets going, is actually a really good idea on how to protect the entry to the Schengen, but it doesn't really cover the movement between the countries. So
Right.
that's another question we get asked is if you've got a card that says you're for France,
Yeah.
and then you go to Germany, can I use that as the fact that I can stay in Germany for more than 90 days? And the answer is
Yeah.
no, you can't.
Yeah. I can't find that comment straight away. But basically, what I said was, was that it's like you teach a child to walk, and then you set them out on their journey, and then they go and flourish. That's how I feel with Robbie's channel.
It's very good. Very good. Right, okay. Getting back to so that was a
Yeah,
massive tangent.
yeah,
Getting back to it, what other factors would pull someone back to the UK? So we've covered like family, grandkids. I think on a scale of everything, I reckon grandkids probably number one.
yeah. I reckon you're right, and I think it's probably the female side of the relationship would be the factor.
Yeah, probably.
Mm.
Um, but I think there's other ways to deal with it. And like I've already said, if
Mm.
you're living in France with disposable income and you're retired,
Yeah.
there's nothing to stop you going back for.
As I, as I say, it's a moving back lock, stock, and barrel is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, isn't it? So,
Mm, yeah, exactly. Exactly. But what other pulls would there be back? And I can
so
think of a few, I can think of maybe two actually.
mm,
So,
oh, sorry, go on.
no, no, go on.
No, I was just going to say about uh, what the AI answer said about tax and financial
Yeah.
considerations as well. I think that may have something to do with it. Where if someone's got assets in the UK. If anybody from America's watching, it'd be interesting to hear their views on, what it would take for them to go back to the US because, I think there are
I think that's
different things
even
to worry
that
about there.
I think that's even harder now, to be
Yeah, yeah,
honest.
yeah. But
Uh,
anyway, so um, if there's any comments on that, we'll definitely read them out next week. But
yeah. So what I was going to say is, if you're an entrepreneur or you like to start businesses or you want to invest, France is not for you, for sure. You can
right,
knock that on the head right now. It is not very entrepreneurial friendly. It's not business friendly. It's more because it's a kind of a socialist country, it's more orientated around workers.
mm,
So here, me personally as an employee now, I have loads of rights,
Mm.
lots of benefits, and it doesn't really make sense to start businesses, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Back in the UK, it's the opposite. They
Yeah. I mean,
encourage and want, I mean, you can just start businesses left, right, and center. And if it works out, brilliant, carry on, do it, make the money, employ the people, and so on. That I can't take away from the UK is vastly superior to here in that
do you
respect.
think that's a hangover from the Thatcher years?
Not particularly.
Mm.
It's always been like that.
Yeah,
You can have always done that. Um, because we're comparing it to here, I think the problem is here rather than there. If you,
yeah.
I
I
don't think it.
understand.
I don't think it's I think that's just normality where we're from.
Yeah.
Here is just incredibly restrictive.
Mm.
But that's France. I mean, it's the paperwork and the restrictions are just massive.
Yeah.
And companies start and then go bust quite frequently because they've got no opportunity to test the water and
Mm.
see if it works or not.
There's um there's a chap that I speak to every now and again in Rochester. He owns a restaurant and a shop and like a delicatessen shop. Um, and I remember him saying that he spends 2 days a week, and keep in mind that he's running a restaurant with staff and a delicatessen with staff in the town centre. Um, it's a charcuterie actually, but it's like a deli. And yeah, he spends 2 days a week just doing paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, but the UK is catching up. It
Mm,
is catching up. The tax uh, reporting standards in the UK have now coming online with France,
right.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a big downer. So you're now going to have to report quarterly, electronically, your takings. I mean,
Mm,
that's just insane. Normally, you would just report after a year and say, look, this is what I've earned, and this is how much
mm,
tax, blah, that's it, done.
mm.
But now, no, every 3 months.
Yeah.
That is just going to be a complete nightmare. And
I
you can't do
mean,
it by paper. You got to do it online with approved software, which is obviously
yeah. I mean,
someone's
I
making
have to
money
say
out of that.
because I'm an auto entrepreneur, self-employed sole trader or whatever you want to call it. It's made very easy for me. I declare my earnings every month and pay it every month through an app on my phone, and it's the easiest thing in the world.
It, yeah, it is, but it isn't. But yeah,
Mm.
but like going back to the UK, apart from that, you can start a company doing whatever you want,
Mm.
and I really like that, and I miss that.
Mm.
I think if it here was like the UK, I would have started a couple of businesses by now,
Yeah,
but I don't, and I work for someone else because it's more profitable. Well, not profitable, but more. It's
it's just easier.
easier,
Yeah,
and I get more benefits working for someone else.
yeah,
It's mad.
yeah.
So, I think that if I was going to leave France and go back to the UK, it would be something along those lines. It would be something financial for me. It would be a job offer that was too good to be true, or I've found a job that I can do in England. But even then, I wouldn't leave permanently. I would leave,
Yeah,
like maybe do 6 months about or something. Because I don't know if you know, but once you've done your first 5 years in France and got your carte de séjour for 5 years,
yeah,
you can leave the France and go somewhere else for up to 5 years and you still maintain the residency.
right.
So you could come back after 4.5 years and then
Mm. Start
you can.
again. Mm.
That's good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Isn't it? But I don't think I'll be going anywhere.
No, no, I mean,
No, I don't know.
to be honest, I'd feel. for me personally, and this is just me personally, when I look back on the life that I had there, it was like a middle of the road, get up, go to work, come back, life, watch Emmerdale in the evening. Mhm. Not much more than that, really, in the grand
Mm,
scheme of things. And here, I've got all the space to work on cars, trucks, tractors, do my own projects, build
mm.
stuff, build houses, build well, houses or extensions, put
Yeah, yeah.
do all my projects that I want to do that interest me.
Mm,
I've got the space and the storage for all my stuff. Never had that before.
yeah.
And it's all cheaper. Everything's cheaper.
Mm,
Like the house is cheaper, the cost of living is cheaper,
mm,
you know. So I wouldn't go back because I'd miss all that.
mm.
Don't know. You probably feel the same, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's probably didn't realise it at the time, but it is a one-way ticket. You know,
Unless you've got loads of money.
if you've got loads of money, then it don't matter. You can do what you like. Yeah. There's some people that I do some work for. They have their teeth done in Dubai because they can
Right.
afford it.
Yeah, why not?
Mm. So
Brilliant.
different world, isn't it?
Exactly. So to summarize then, I guess
Okay.
the biggest pullback for older residents will be grandkids, I think.
Mm. It'd be interesting to see a breakdown of the age
Yeah.
ranges of people that do come to live out here.
Hmm. And that versus those that go back. Yeah.
No, well, yeah, that too, but just because if you're in your 30s or 40s, then to come out here, you would need a job, wouldn't you?
Oh, now
Unless
you would,
you're,
yeah. Yeah, now
yeah,
you would, yeah.
unless you're financially independent, you know. But
I
uh,
reckon most people that come here are retirees
yeah, of course,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Before
yeah.
Brexit, maybe not. But now you have to be, really.
Yeah, and I think it's people that made their money mostly on property in the UK.
Yeah, probably.
If you bought a house in the 80s or late 70s, early 80s for 20 grand, and it's now worth three-quarters of a million.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And
And
then
you
you
come
can
out,
translate that again.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I
Interesting
used to do,
episode, actually, that. Yeah.
yeah, I used to do some Arab work every now and again. So during the summer, because it gets so hot in Kuwait and the various other Arab countries.
But they
The,
all end up at Chelsea Bridge at the burger stall before they go back. You know
there
that?
you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. I do know that place
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, you can park right outside, can't
Yeah.
you? Anyway, yeah. So we used to do like 6 weeks at a time, with various members of different families. And there was one guy who always used to do the summer. We used to call him Big Al because his name was Alan and he was about 4 foot 11. So he used to do the summer working the Arabs in London, and then he used to go back to Thailand for the winter and live like a king.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Why not?
Big Al.
Right. I guess that's it then.
Okay, then, mate. Let's wrap it up then. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching. I can't take these off because if I do that, I can't see anything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That'd be great. If you didn't, then you're probably not watching anyway. So if you'd like to press the notification bell so that you know when there's new content, and maybe think about subscribing if you're not subscribed already. And all that needs to say is it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from him.
Goodbye.